the Extension Agriculture Institute, your connection to the latest agriculture and horticulture research from the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Hi, I'm Jordan Campa. I'm the Southeast Regional Outreach Specialist with the Nutrient and Pest Management Program and the Pesticide Applicator Training Program with the UW-Madison Division of Extension. And today I'm going to talk to you about the things that you need to properly calibrate a backpack sprayer. For one, you will need a backpack sprayer that you plan to calibrate and plan to use out in the field for your pesticide applications. You'll also need some sort of water source. So for us today, we have jugs of water because we don't have a running water source. We'll also need a graduated container of some kind so we can measure the liquid coming out of the sprayer. We'll also need a tape measure so that we can measure out distance so we can track our time, and also so that we know our area for when we actually do the calibration process. And then we may also potentially need gloves depending on how clean our equipment is. If our equipment isn't clean, we want to protect ourselves from pesticide residue by wearing gloves. Before we get started on the calibration process, we need to talk about the three main components of a backpack sprayer. So here we have a hand pump backpack sprayer. The first and biggest component is the spray tank itself. That spray tank is where we put our pesticide mix, and we need to check to make sure that there's no cracks or potential leaks. We don't want to have any pesticide spills happening because there's a leak in our tank. Leaks most commonly are found at the seams of the spray tank itself, and we could potentially see issues with the cap if it's not sealing properly and it's pressurized. The next component of the backpack sprayer we need to talk about is the pump. So in some cases, you might not have a hand pump, you might have a different equipment that is running itself, but in this case we have the hand pump, so we push up and down on it so that it builds pressure within the tank so that our pesticide mix is able to be sprayed out of the nozzle. The nozzle is our last component we need to talk about and is probably the most important. When we're thinking through the calibration process, we do need to make sure that our nozzles are clean and that they're not broken or in any sort of disrepair. If they're in disrepair, they could affect our spray pattern. We need to make sure that we are getting adequate coverage with our nozzle and that our spray pattern is nice and even. Nozzle requirements will be listed in the label, so you might be able to use the nozzle that your backpack sprayer came with, but you do need to make sure you're reading the label thoroughly and that you're using the proper nozzles for the pesticide product you plan to use. In addition, the nozzle can be changed if you are trying to achieve different droplet sizes. Typically, a nozzle with a larger opening is going to lead to larger droplet sizes, which can reduce the risk of drift depending on the situation that you are in or the conditions that you're applying in. So the nozzle is a really big component, as well as the spray tank, and then again, that pump. To make sure that everything is working properly, we have to go through the calibration process, and then once we're done with the calibration process, we are ready to go for our pesticide spray in the field. If you're looking for more information about the calibration process, feel free to check out the calibration video in the video series.